Okay.
So, hi, Dennis. Welcome on
Hi,
board.
sir. How are you? Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes. So, I am in Brussels, and we had a fantastic event, our first event in our French-speaking countries, with presence of Christophe Thoman, the CEO for Europe and Asia, and also leaders, and it was very nice, very, very enthusiastic. So
Good.
we are
That's
at the
always nice to
beginning
hear.
of the beginning something big. We know that, we feel it. Yes.
Right.
So it's very nice.
Good. Congratulations. That sounds like
thank
fun.
you. Yes, we have a lot of fun. Absolutely. In life, if you don't have fun, don't do it.
Exactly.
So,
I agree.
life is short, is doing things only for money. So just
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So I am very pleased and honored to know you in life, because you are between that man or human beings that I have a lot of respect.
Thank you.
I know you.
I
follow you since long years, and it's in old times what I see also many in the world, that men or women with values became more, I say, more and more rare. I say in English also, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well
So
said. Thank you.
It's even more important. It's giving more value that human beings and men as you are, and to work with you as a professional. It's you are a master in network marketing. It's double honor for me. So thank you for you, and thank you for the Lord, thank the God that we met on our life, on our road. We met somewhere in life. So
yes. Well, you're very welcome, sir. Thank you. I'm honored indeed.
So, Dennis, I know who you are, and probably many people know who you are, but not everybody knows who you are, because yes, that's like that. And can you tell me a few words about you, who you are, your background? So where do you come from? When your origin, perhaps, even what you did when you started your life. Because sorry, before you start, I'm telling you why I'm asking this question. I met Jay Delival, the founder and the CEO of the company in Düsseldorf in Germany last weekend. And he said something very interesting: the destiny. The destiny. Things doesn't happen just by chance, in life. So he told us his story. So his story, he's from India origin. His parents were immigrants in Canada, in Toronto, poor immigrants, of course. And his father don't speak English, not really. And the mother, not really. So he was the only one who spoke really English, who learned, because young children learn very fast. And her mother worked in a factory and very hard. And one day he went home, and it was close to his birthday, and mother said, "My son, go to your father. He has a gift for you." And he was very enthusiastic. Because he was expecting, he dreamed about a bike. He was 6 years old. He dreamed about having his own bike. And his father, he went to his father and said, "Hello, father, I am here." And he was so enthusiastic. And the father said, "I have a gift for you." He was very enthusiastic, and said, "Where is the gift?" He was looking for the bike and said, "Here is it." And he took a big box. He said, "It's very nice packed." And he said, "Open it." Boy, I said, "Bike is not in the box." It was a big box, but not so big for a bike. He was saying, "What is that inside?" So he opened the box, and he found, I don't remember, 20 or 30 encyclopedia encyclopedias about nature, about the plants, about. He said, "Where is my bike?" He said, "No, my son, that is your gift." And you know what? As you know, I don't speak English because it was in English. It was each book was so big, so
yeah,
each book it was long because it's
right.
You will read it, and you will make a resume for me because I would like to know what is inside. And he obliged his son every day spend, I don't know how many, for half an hour, 1 hour, reading and making resumes by handwritten. And he needed 3 years of doing it. It was a lot of time because it was big, you know, so, and that time he hated his father for this gift, for this poison gift. He said he hated us. Come on, he was expecting a bike. But later he understood his father gives him the most important gift of his life, the knowledge.
Yes.
The knowledge and the knowledge of also the analyzing things. Analyzing. And not only reading, but also understanding it. So many, many years later, his mother became very sick. He was starting to make IT engineer. He made a lot of success in IT. He became very, very successful in IT because he became very analytic because this book.
Right.
Okay. And that whole story started by this, the destiny. If his father doesn't buy the book, probably he could do some other jobs, not become an IT engineer, for later understanding, analyzing, you know, all the narrow codes for helping his mother. That is the destiny. So I love to know the stories of human beings, to understand them, because many people, you know, we see someone, we successful or not successful, we are judging him or her positively or not, but we don't know what's happened of the person, why that person became who he is or who she became.
Right.
And that is the story of the family and the destiny. Of course, you don't have to tell your family story, whatever, but I would like to know why how you arrived on the network marketing.
Okay.
That's very
I'll be
interesting.
happy to do that.
Okay, so please, I am very honored to know that. I know that, but for other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, I was born in Eastern Washington in the Pacific Northwest of the United States and grew up sort of meager circumstances on a farm. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old, and my father moved to the Oregon coast. My mother stayed in Idaho. So I grew up going back and forth between the two. My parents were hardworking, but neither of them had a high school education, had never gone to college or anything like that, but were very hard workers and taught me, instilled in me this concept, this idea of working hard to earn what you earn. And as I grew up and I watched what was going on around me, I came to the understanding that I didn't want to do that. As hardworking and as honest as it wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. So I came to the understanding that in order to get ahead, you had to work for yourself, not for someone else. And so I went to high school, got out of high school, went in the military, served in the United States Air Force, was right at the very tail end of the Vietnam War, came home and enrolled in a vocational technical school. So learned electronics, learned major appliance repair, thought I would open my own appliance repair business and I would do well. Had a dream in the back of my mind of being a police officer. So while I was studying business and looking at going into business, I had an opportunity to actually become what's called a reserve police officer, something you do for free, but you learn how to support, give back to your community, that type of thing. And that led to about a 10-year career in law enforcement. At the same time, I was looking at and dabbling in other businesses as well. And my epiphany moment came when I was sitting in the back of a police car watching a high school. Now, the boys in the senior class of that high school had threatened to burn down the high school after graduation. And so I was assigned to watch that, monitor that, make sure that that didn't happen. So I'm sitting there, and someone, thank goodness, someone gave me a cassette player and cassettes. At the time, I didn't even know what was on the cassette. It was something to listen to, something to break up the monotony. And as it turns out, it was Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Fantastic.
And as I was sitting there listening to this tape, there was a phrase. And that phrase said, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And sir, that was like somebody hit me in the head with a hammer. Bonk.
Wow.
It just exploded in my mind. And for the first time, I come to understand that I was not a victim of circumstances, that I could make a choice and I could make changes. And for the first time in my life, I believe that indeed I could own my own life. I could do, be, or have whatever I wanted in life. And that started me on a journey. It took a few more years, but that started me on a journey to really understand that even though at one point I owned and operated other businesses, I've done small business consulting, I've built successful martial arts schools, I've owned and operated restaurants. I've been in several different genres of business, if you will. And one day, it was like I had climbed the ladder of success only to look over the wall and realize that the ladder was leaning on the wrong wall.
Mm-hmm.
I had climbed all the way to the top. Now, if you were to look at me, I had a nice home, I had a motor home, I had a boat. People from the outside looking in looked at me like I was very, very successful. And indeed, in one way in life, I was. However, I was, you know how the Chinese acrobats, they spin the plates and they run down the line spinning the plates? I was working 7 days a week and I was spinning plates. And as soon as I'd get to one end, I'd have to run to the other end and start them all spinning again. And I woke up one morning and I said, this is crazy. As a matter of fact, what happened was I had a panic and anxiety attack that took 3 years out of my life. I was 100% disabled. And prior to that, I had been introduced to this concept of network marketing, so I had played with it a little bit. I was very intrigued because the only thing that limited me would be myself. The challenge was I hadn't really found the right vehicle, the right company, if you will. And after this illness and being 100% disabled for 3 years, I said to myself, it's time to find the right opportunity. And so I looked around, I found an opportunity, and I said, I'm going to work my way out of the restaurant business. I'm going to work my way out of all these other businesses. And for the first time, you see, my businesses owned me. I didn't own them. I was tied to them. I had to keep them going. I wanted a business that didn't require my physical presence to be there to earn. Mm-hmm. And so I was introduced to a company out of Japan with a concept with wellness products, made a huge impact on people's lives. And it fit with my philosophy. I'm an 8th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, a Japanese martial art. So the philosophy of that company fit very well with me. And so I got started with that. And over the course of the next 25 years, I was a very successful distributor with that company. I earned my way up through the ranks to where for a consistent number of years, I was amongst the top 5 income earners. multiple seven-figure earner, had all the success. But the nice thing is, and I'll kind of close with this story. The nice thing is I owned my own life. For the first time, I was living by design and not by default.
Yes, I love
I
that.
was doing the things that I wanted to do. I was living life unleashed. And here's an example. I was in Hawaii, had been there for 10 days, thoroughly enjoying it, on vacation, wasn't answering my cell phone, wasn't taking care of email, nothing. And on that 10th day, I decided I didn't want to go back home and I didn't want to go back to work. So I got a hold of the airline and I changed my ticket for another 7 days. I got a hold of the hotel and I said, can I extend my stay for 7 more days? They both said, yeah, absolutely. All I did was turn my phone on, let my team know that I was now available for calls if they wanted to reach me. And I spent the next 7 days enjoying myself before I got on the plane to head home. Now, that could have never happened in my past because my business required my physical presence to be there to earn. And for the first time, after successfully building out this network marketing company, I had reached that point where it didn't require my physical presence to be there. It went on whether I was there or not. As a matter of fact, that was in the month of December. It was my best December ever.
Beautiful story. I love that. Why? Because, if I remember, it was Steve Jobs who said that it's not a more stupid things to be a billionaire and die at 56 years. What he was doing, he was working day and night. He became billionaire, but he died. Because why? He worked. He did nothing else, only working. And I truly believe that we don't born on this planet Earth only for working day and night. Right. Of course, there can happen in life. We can work very hard. It's good for in time, but not for decades. And no, that's not life. So, and the quality of life, if you understood, also for you, is even more important than the amount of money you can earn.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. So I love also another quote from Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, who said, the man who don't own the two-thirds of his day, he is slave, whatever he is doing, whatever. So that means 24 hours for day, you take out 8 hours for sleeping, 16 hours left, and 2/3 of the 16 hours, let's say we should work for maximum 6 hours a day, not more, 4, 6. And the rest, spending time with our family, children, wife, husband, for ourselves, learning new things, doing sports as you do.
Right.
And doing something for the community where we are living. So something more useful. And someone who is hesitating to jump into this business, on this way of working, for example, for businessmen or corporate leaders, what would you advise them? Why? Why? Because it can, okay, it worked for him, but it will not work for me, but I don't believe it. What advice could you give them for people who are hesitating to jump into this network marketing?
Well, there's 2 or 3 approaches to that. Number one, when I talk to somebody that is very successful in their life, quote unquote, in terms of money or profession, they get hung up on education. They get hung up on what will the neighbors think. They don't understand who we are and what we do. And so my role is an educator. When you look at a true salesperson, it's not about how sophisticated at sales you are. It's about what kind of storyteller you are. And it's about understanding the person you're talking to and educating them on what's a solution for what's missing in their life. So when I'm talking to someone that's successful in another form of life, I just ask them, what did you have to give up to be this successful? What price did you pay to get there? And the way that works out is into a little formula that I have used for, gosh, 40 years. And that's based on a Japanese concept called Ikigai. And Ikigai is about living by design or living life on purpose. And so, like I say, living life unleashed, so to speak. And I'll say to these people, so would you consider that your life is imbalanced right now? And what I mean by that is this: are you able, when you look at the 5 critical areas, I call them anchors of wellness. 5 critical areas are anchors of wellness. They're simply this: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And I'll ask them, as you look into your life, are those areas balanced? Or are you very strong, perhaps, in the financial pillar and very weak in the area of family? Or perhaps you're very strong in the business side of things, the anchor that is financial, but your body is in very poor health. What kind of contributions do you make? And I ask them this simple question. Tomorrow morning, when you get out of bed, if you had all of the time and all of the money to do whatever you want to do in your life, what would you do tomorrow that you did not do today? And then I listen. And then after they explain to me, I ask them, what stops you from doing it right now?
Wow.
And then I say, if I could show you a way to have this and not have to deal with this, would you give me 45 minutes to talk to you? And it's interesting how many people are so locked into what they do that they're afraid to see if there's something new. And that's okay. I love them. They can become a customer of my products, but I move on. Let me tell you a little story that happened in Singapore that really puts sort of the exclamation marks around what I do. I was in a high-rise building in downtown Singapore. I was talking with the chief pilot of Singapore Airlines. He had invited 9 people into his home, and one of them was one of the top bankers in Singapore. Now, Singapore is known as sort of the financial hub of Asia. So a lot of banks, a lot of financial institutions, a lot of success in Singapore. And as I explained who I was and what I did, this banker leaned back in his chair and he goes, well, he says, that's interesting, but you don't make much money doing network marketing. It's not really a very prestige kind of a business. And I said, that's interesting that you would say that. And I said, so based on what would you, and now the host is going, because I'm going toe to toe with this gentleman. See, I'm bulletproof. You can't tell me this doesn't work and you can't have success. And I said, why? And he said, well, there's just no way that people can make money. And I said, okay. I said, who have you talked to that told you that? And he said, well, I talked to this person and this person. I said, did they have success? And he said, well, no. I said, have you ever talked to somebody that had success in network marketing? And he goes, no. And I said, so tomorrow, let's say, God forbid, you have to have surgery. And you go and talk to the doctor. Now, would you choose a doctor that lost every patient he ever worked on? Or would you choose a doctor that was successful? Would you search until you found a successful surgeon to perform your operation? Well, of course, he said, I would look for a successful surgeon. I said, well, let me suggest to you that rather than saying you can't make any money in network marketing, that perhaps you talk to somebody who has, and then ask them to coach and mentor you for success. And he said, okay, would you know somebody like that? And I had in my briefcase a portfolio that had about 36 months worth of recent checks that I had earned. Just copies, not the actual checks themselves, but just copies. And I said, sir, would you believe that if one person could be successful in an opportunity that other people could as well? And he goes, oh, yeah, I would believe that. And I said, okay. And I handed him that portfolio. And I said, if I was to come into your bank and present this to you, would you give me a personal banker? And would you accept me as a client in your bank? And he looked through and he looked through and he was quiet for a minute or so. And everybody in the room is kind of like, waiting. And he finally closed it up and he said, yes, I would. And I said, sir, many people live their lives in ignorance. And everybody in the room now goes, he's talking, because this guy's one of the top bankers in Singapore. And I said, that's not an insult, but we think we know something. And rather than finding the true answer, we just repeat what Uncle Fred said. Uncle Fred was never successful in anything in his life. And when you ask him, do you think I should join a network marketing opportunity? Uncle Fred goes, oh, well, no, nobody ever makes any money in those things. And so we go away and say, nobody ever makes any money in those things. And yet there's a ton of people all over the world that have created amazing success, impacted millions of lives through positive products experiences, and help people live a life they design, live a life on purpose with purpose because of this mechanism known as network marketing. Sir, it's just a method of doing business. And here's the magic in today. When we sit here in 2023, every company on this planet is looking for a way to go direct to consumer. Why? Because of the cost of shipping, because of supply chain issues, because of the cost of labor, because of the cost of things like health insurance and those kinds of situations like that. It has become very cumbersome to do business under the traditional umbrella. And guess who pays the price for all that? The consumer does. Why? Because they pass those costs along to the consumer. And what network marketing does is it takes the product directly from the manufacturer and passes it to the consumer with an educated middleman or middlewoman, if you will, that is passionate about a product, that they've used that product, they're sharing it with someone, and they have the information to provide the education necessary. You see, I'll wrap up with this. There are many, many, many very good products are sitting in warehouses around the world. And why are they sitting there? Number one, they're priced incorrectly. Number two, they're sophisticated products. And if you put it on the shelf and say, hey, use me to sleep better, people wouldn't understand it, or use me to relieve pain, or help me in any other kind of way, cognitive decline, whatever it might be. It's a product that requires a little bit of education. But if I go to that same person and I say, hey, wow, you know what? I had this problem. I use this technology and this is my result. And I care for you. And I think this can make an impact on you. And by the way, I have a sample for you. Want to give this a try. I was just on a call an hour before talking to you with a woman from Scotland who was introduced this morning to this. Somebody from the United States flew to Scotland. They spent the day together. This person has trouble walking up and down steps. Their gait is off, their balance is off. They put on one patch, walked up and down the steps. Couldn't believe it. They've already talked to 9 people in one day. Fantastic. 9 people in one day. That's the power of network marketing. That's the problem that exists is most people that start this business, number one, it's a low startup cost. They have no skin in the game. And so it's easy to walk away from. If they invested $1.1 million like I did for a restaurant I opened, they would not walk away from that after 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever. Number two, the person who gets them started doesn't know any more about the business than they do. So it's critical to plug into a training infrastructure. It's critical to connect with whomever in your upline has the success that you want. So you look and you find out who in that line that's responsible for your training and support is earning what you want to earn, and you participate and do exactly what they tell you to do. And from that, you can build your own system and create your own success and then live the life you want to live.
Beautiful. I love that story in Singapore. It's perfect story, by the way. And also you are right. So for the why the companies like our company are selling his products, very specific products, this way and not in classical shops. By the way, we are today in Belgium, our first French-speaking meeting in Europe, and there was a lady who had this kind of multiplex. She was in a wheelchair, and even not 2 weeks after, 1 week she was out from the wheelchair. Even and now she's walking even without the, I don't know, it's in English, the kind of, yes, begging.
Yeah.
That's a powerful story. So when people see this, people who know her, she's sponsoring people. Right. So that our secret is based not on commercial, how you say, marketing publicities in television, but the power of the personal you share. By the way, I remember years ago, I did a story. There was the guy who was the most famous marketing specialist in the world. He was the number one from United States, by the way, and he said something very important. If you see a lot of publicity of a product, more publicity you see about a product, you can be sure that without this publicity, that product they would not success. They could not sell it. So they need publicities, very often lying publicity. They lie. We know that.
Right.
And yes, to sell the product. But in our business, we don't need it.
No. Word of mouth is the very best way. Every business out there succeeds from word of mouth.
Yes, more trustful. People can trust it because they know you.
Yeah. In my martial arts school, when I was in Eureka, California, I was advertising in Yellow Pages, advertising in a newspaper, and I decided to do a study to find out where my new students were coming from. I had a very successful school. And when I started doing the research, I found out less than 2% came from advertising. 98% came from word of mouth.
Wow, you see, yes, that is the most powerful and most trustful, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, and now you are a young man for me. You are, for your age, you are very dynamic. You are very good looking, and really, I know your age. We will not tell. If you want, you can tell your age. You can be proud. By the way, I used to say, be proud of your age. Yeah. Because many men or women, they are even not here today at your age. So come on, you are very well. You are strong, physically, mentally. Why do you engage in this new adventure with our company? Because it's you have everything what you want. You don't need it. So why you took the time first to examine this opportunity, and then why you started to jump into the deep water with this company?
Well, so there's a couple of answers to that. Number one, that company I talked about, I was with for 25 years, made some changes that I didn't feel I could remain in integrity with to be a part of it. And so I walked away after having earned multiple 7 figures. My integrity would not allow me to continue to represent that. And so my income stream stopped immediately. I mean, literally from tens of thousands of dollars a month to nothing from 1 month to the next. I've gone through some personal changes in my life, gone through, hit my head on the bottom of a houseboat. I had 2 brain surgeries. So in the last 5-6 years, there's been a lot of things that have sort of happened that I put life on the back burner.
Yes.
And so I had made the decision prior to talking to you that I love doing what I do. I don't consider this work. This is my passion. This is what gives me the fire that burns.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love, well, let me put it to you this way. So when I look at my purpose in life, my purpose in life is to have joy, Joy. And my mission is to live life with excellence and to teach, mentor, support, and help others to achieve their full potential. And when I look back at the anchors of wellness and I look back at where people struggle, I have an answer for that, and I love doing it. So I made the decision that I was going to become engaged and rebuild an organization. I was going to start over, if you will. And you and I had talked about something else, and it wasn't intriguing to me. It didn't fit the buckets that I was looking to fill. And quite frankly, when you told me about this, it was like, yeah, okay, here comes another one, right? Because I get multiple offers a week from people about these kinds of businesses because of my success. But you said a couple of things that intrigued me. Number one, new technology. Now, everybody talks about a new technology, but typically it's just a spin-off of an old technology. And so you fed me a little bit of information. I asked for some products to try for myself. And then I did a deep dive. I did my own research. I started looking out online. I started reading what was being said. Now, let me give a caveat on that. I generally don't tell people to go online to search for answers. And the reason is there's as much garbage out there, and it doesn't matter how good something is. And let's just for a moment, let me dabble in the religions of the world. So it doesn't matter if you're a believer in Islam, or whether you're a believer in Christianity, or whether you're a believer in Buddhism, or any of the major philosophies that exist out there. If you Google that, you're going to find people that absolutely are totally in support and rave about it. And you will find an equal number of people who are going to disparage it, tear it down, and tell you all the reasons why it doesn't work. So I don't look for that kind of thing. I don't want somebody else to form an opinion for me in my mind. I'm going to form my own opinion. But I went and looked at the science. I went and looked at the research. I looked at the studies. I listened to the testimonials. I'm not interested in all the people who say, whoa, nay, although there wasn't that much out there on that. And then I said to you, so the product's got to be good, but it's more important that I know the story of the founder, that I associate with and know who the leaders in the business is and the leaders in the field are. And as I did my due diligence over the next week to 10 days, you provided all those answers for me and allowed me to experience this opportunity for myself. And I made a little short 4-minute video a few weeks ago that I'm sharing with everybody that I know. And here's what I've told them. I've been very successful in business. I've had a very full life, and I have never found anything. And the word I used in this video is profound. I have never found anything as profound as what this technology and this opportunity and the mission to impact 1 billion lives positively with health, wellness, or performance. And so my due diligence said this, just like the business I started that I ran for 25 years, I knew instantly with it, once I finished my due diligence, that it was going to be big, and so was I. Same thing with this business. There is no question in my mind that this will be a household term before long, where people will actually reach out. Now, when I built that other business, after a while, people would call me on the phone and they would say, "Are you the magnet man?" Because that was a primary technology that we had, was magnetic technology. And I didn't even know who they were. But somebody had used it, had a benefit, told somebody who told somebody who told this person that called me. And so same thing here. It's already happening. In just a few short weeks, few short months, I'm already getting people, as an example, earlier this week, someone from France reached out to me and asked me about this.
By the way, I
And
like your background. I love your background because it's connecting people.
Yeah.
And that's about, connecting. What we are doing. We are connecting people. We are connecting testimonials, powerful testimonials very often, and how we can impact people. People have even humanity. And I share the vision of Jay that how we can change, how we can create a better world. But as you and me also personally, I have really enough what is going on this planet Earth. It's a long time I say now, and how we can change the planet, how we can change for a better place to live, for better humanity, by using very powerful, positive things like this product and this message. So we are connecting dots. We are connecting like on your background. And this is the way it could can very fast. It can go very fast. And especially in our lives, our time by using Facebook, TikTok, all the things, it's very, very powerful. Wow.
Absolutely. It's technology today. So I've been doing this for over 45 years. And it used to be you had to get face-to-face with somebody in person. So you had to travel where they were. You could use a phone, but a phone was not very effective. Today, with things like Facebook and the other social media, it's like the backyard fence. You can connect with someone in another part of the world and work with them just like if they live next door to you. So technology exists today to reinforce the networking that we do. The communication networks reinforce the business networks that reinforce the personal networks that create the model for people to be as successful as what they want to be. And it gives us this opportunity now to do things that we've never done before. And I say to people, and it goes back to this very simplistic concept and idea of the anchors of wellness. Ask yourself, you may be very abundant in one of those areas, but unless they're all even, unless they're all measured, you're struggling in some area of your life. And you may tell yourself the story that you're not, but the truth is, if I have you draw it out on a piece of paper, you're going to see very quickly, because I'll simply ask you on a scale of 1 to 100, where do you rank in this one and this one and this one and this one? And then you're going to look and see, ooh. And the idea is to bring them. Now, I'm not sure anybody can ever get exactly all 5 in balance, but they're going to be pretty close. There is an opportunity to do that. And my simple solution for them is just simply, if I could show you a way to help that happen, would that be of interest to you? If not, there's a great 4-letter word, and it starts with an N, ends with a T, and it's called next.
Yes. And the beauty of this, everybody can have success, independent of his background, career, language knowledge, whatever,
I'm an example.
Yes, everybody. If you really want it, of course.
Right.
Because this way of working gives the chance for everybody. For me, it's the most democratic way, by the way.
Yeah.
To work.
It's interesting that most people are looking at. I started a restaurant, like I said. We had about 400,000, 450,000 in resources, and when we started putting it together, it was going to take $1.1 million. So I had to go to the bank, and I had to get a loan for over $600,000 to get this business started. I went to a panel of bankers. There were 6 bankers sitting there. I had to go present my business plan, my marketing plan. I had to sell myself. And in the end, I got the loan. I got the $600,000. So we invested $1.1 million in that restaurant, and 2 years later, it was gone. Totally gone. The economy went south. 5 lumber mills in the area shut down. The economy went south. Nobody could afford to eat out. Nobody could come to my restaurant. Wasn't through a business failure because of a mistake we made. Simply the economic conditions, much like what we see happening around the world today, dictated that it was going to go out of business. Now, you switch over and look at this. I started with that company I was with for 25 years for $49 and a few $100s worth of product technologies that I went out and began to sample and demonstrate on people. And the result of that is, over the course of those 25 years, I made multiple seven figures. So that just reinforces exactly what you said about there's low investment, low time investment, but it does require time and it does require investment. You know, people say, well, I don't have any money to get started. Well, call me when you do, because it takes a little bit of something. You got to have a couple of products to demonstrate people or something in order to move forward with this. So it's absolutely something that anybody can do. And depending on their drive, their why, and how committed they are to the success, they can be just as successful as they choose to be. And that's different for everybody. It's not my position to tell you what is success. No, I will never tell anybody what success. I'll ask them what they want, and then I'll break my back to help them to achieve it. I will teach, coach, mentor, and support until they get to where they want to go.
I love it. I love it. So I love your energy, your vision, and way of working, by the way, because you are, as you started at the beginning of this conversation, your integrity. And also, you know, have success in this business. Everybody can have success, but for a long-term success, we need values.
Yes.
And this kind of business doesn't, how you say, excuse people who are not aligned, who are not, who don't have values.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, you know, in classical business, you can work for your, if you are an employee, you can work for your boss, and even the boss is a crazy man, you will shut up and you will keep your mouth because you have to keep your job for paying your rent, whatever. You will accept it. You are treated badly.
Right.
But in this way of working, doesn't work. So, and who you choose to work with, we are in fee-based business.
Right.
And you can choose the person who trust, and the trust is the basis of all good human relationships. Should be friendship. If you don't have trust in your friend, it is not friend anymore.
Right, right.
Business trust, but also even if you're private, if you have trust in your husband or wife,
right.
If you don't, so the trust and the integrity, it's very important to have a successful long-term business, long-term success.
Right.
That you keep a kind of good reputation, and someone say that first you have to work to have a name, a reputation. Afterwards, your name work for you. As you said, you became the magnet man in States. First, you have to.
Yep.
You were I say unknown, and after some years, you became the reference on that field.
Right. Exactly. Yep. That's true. Absolutely. Across the board.
Yes. There are so many subjects we could deal with. We could speak hours, days, weeks, because it's so passionate subject. And you are a very passionate man, by the way. Thank you. Life and your hobbies. And but what else could you advise for people, or what is for you the most important to have success?
Well, I think the most important thing to have success is to be in integrity.
Yeah.
And you've talked about that with values and that type of thing. And so the first question to anybody that's listening to this would be to just sit quietly and say, are you living the life you want to live? Yes or no? We talk about the concept of why, and a lot of people don't have a why. And yet, if you dig a little deeper, they certainly do. They just don't know how to get there.
Yes.
And they don't know how to discover what it is.
They don't dare to dream again. They don't
bingo.
dare.
Yep.
Yes.
So they've been pushed down, kicked around so much that they just withdraw and they go into the cocoon. But what happens in that cocoon is change, metamorphosis. And at some point, that opens up and out comes that magnificent butterfly. And the same thing in this. People that have gotten to the point where they've closed down and they don't dream anymore, that dream is still in there. It's still alive. It still wants to come out. It just needs to be nurtured. It just needs to be cared for. It just needs to have somebody believe in it until they can believe in it themselves. And that's really the method of what we do in this business. The money's really good. The impact that the products make on people is just outstanding. But move both of those aside, because the personal development and helping people to get back to live in integrity, to live their why, to live their life on their terms, the way they want to live, that's really what this is all about. Now, it takes time and money to be able to do that. And if you have physical health challenges, it takes getting those into balance. But the bottom line in any of this is really helping people to see what is it that would really make you happy? What's missing in your life? And then how can we use this mechanism for you to gain it? And the education that comes, and I'll tell you this, all of this boils down to feeling. How do you feel? When you look at the mirror in the morning, how do you feel? When you go to work in the morning, how do you feel? When you come home from work, how do you feel? When you're in the quiet moments of your life, how do you feel? What's resonating in here? Is it positive and energetic and uplifting? When you open your eyes in the morning, do you go, yes, I'm excited to be alive. I'm excited for this day. I'm excited to move forward. I'm excited to see what the day is going to bring. Or do we roll over and open one eye and go, oh, no, it's another day. That's the difference. And that's what we have to offer. Above and beyond an amazing income opportunity, above and beyond a huge opportunity to help people with physical challenges that they might have, health, wellness, and performance. As fantastic as those are, the greater opportunity is helping someone to live in integrity, helping someone to have a good self-image, to have good self-awareness, to have good self-discipline, and to feel good about themselves and know they're making a contribution and living a life they designed, not one designed for them.
Yes, I love that. During many years, I am active also in this field. One of the most powerful motivation working in this field, of course, success and helping people, but also seeing persons becoming a better version of themselves. Mm-hmm. How I love the people, I see people who are changing positively. Like, as you said, they became the seeds, and they even ignore it, that they are capable to do things. And right. Like a flower, it's become better and better. Yes. And they are growing and personal growing. Mm-hmm. And they start to look on life on a different way, not stopping complaining, right. Starting acting.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And I love that. I love that. For me, that is one of the motivation I am doing this.
Yes.
Because of, we will all die one of these days.
Sooner or later.
Yes. So it could be tomorrow. It could be as I hope less later as possible, in good term. I would like to die. I hope. I ask also God, die on a healthy way.
Yeah.
But later. But, during this period we have on this planet Earth, we have to spend. What would you do for the rest of your life? What is the purpose? What would you give you, like Ikigai, the sense of the purpose of life? Mm-hmm. Think about what is your purpose of life? Yeah. Because if you have, you are driving a small car or Rolls Royce, we all will die. Mm-hmm. But I really believe the way how we will quit this planet Earth, our soul will quit. It's my personal believing, of course, and I respect everybody. Mm-hmm. And that moment, how is your vibration? How is your energy level? It's this high level, beautiful, pure vibration. Anyway, as high as possible.
Right.
And do you know this? Sorry, and because this vibration with his impact for after. That's my personal.
Oh, absolutely.
Belief. So
absolutely. Yeah.
And we will not go to the same place, all because depending of our vibration, and we can go to different places. But if someone is working very hard to even not becoming a millionaire, because how many people I know, they are working very hard, but they can just pay the bills. So, okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have time for the family, for themselves, not for personal development. They go home, only thing they want to do, sleep.
Yeah.
So they miss life. They miss the purpose of life.
Right.
And in this way of working, we offer the chance for everybody to build your Ikigai. It's your personal, of course, it's very personal, but what is your purpose of life? And probably these two movies, I really love to recommend these two movies. One is from Frank Capra. It's a Beautiful Life. It was 1946. Please don't mix it with the Italian movie. It was of the 90s, The Beautiful Life. It's from Frank Capra. And it shows how you can impact people's life without knowing that. You don't know it.
Right.
They show it your life without you, with you and without you. How the other people's life is growing or evaluating. Another movie is Paid Forward.
Yes.
Very powerful movie. And this show, if you don't know it, watch it, the both movie with your family, with your children, because both are very powerful life lessons.
Right.
How we can impact other people's life with purpose. You know it or you don't know it, but whatever you do or you don't know, you do or you don't do, you will impact people's life.
Right.
Positively or negatively.
Right. So
this way of network marketing, I prefer to use in French word, it's personal marketing. We use it. Personal. It's personal. It's people to people.
Right.
And how we can, as your dots behind you, how we can connect our stories with other stories and helping people rise energetically and become a better version of themselves, happier persons, more fulfilled persons.
Right.
And I saw so many cases, and you too, we could tell 1,000 stories that people who, without this, they will become, I don't know what,
Right.
That's very powerful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And what is your vision about life? What is your personal vision?
Well, I mentioned it earlier.
But
in here, it's,
I'm not for the business. No, for you.
No,
for you.
I get that.
Yeah.
The business doesn't exist for my purpose. My purpose exists outside of the business. And when I look at my purpose in life is to have joy, Joy. So whenever I make a decision, whenever I think about what I need to do or want to do, or I'm asked to do, I ask, am I going to put me on purpose or not? Is it going to bring me joy or not? And oftentimes people pursue instant gratification. Instant gratification does not provide joy. Long-term building, you've talked about vibration. I'm a very firm believer in vibration, in the law of vibration, and understanding the closer, the higher the vibration, the purer the energy, the changes that happen in mental health and physical health and energetic health, and the connectedness with all the other beings on the planet and indeed within the universe. All of that, there's those that believe that when you cast a pebble into the water and the ripples go out, that impacts something on the other side of the world, that when a butterfly on the other side of the world flaps its wings, causes something to happen on the other side, the vibrations of those things. Everything is vibration. And when we understand that, whether we're talking about us as human beings, whether we're talking about the table, the technology, the cameras we're looking into, everything is just a vibration. When we understand the vibration and we understand the energy, the life force energy, and the impact that that energy has, you know, we're getting a little philosophical, and it's well beyond what we need to record and put out to other people. But when we understand life force energy, and we understand how to enhance and increase life force energy, that is what enlightenment is all about. That is what we all strive to attain, is to return to whatever that philosophical being is. The universe exists because of vibration. The universe is in harmony because of vibration, and disharmony because of poor vibrations. And the more we can impact the positive vibrations and understand and do what is important to increase the vibration. I mean, if we want to spin out and talk about chakras, and talk about energy, and talk about grounding to the earth's core, and talk about, you know, universal energy and life force energy and all like that, we're talking about vibration. And in the end, that's what everything boils down to, is energy. And the more pure, the more in harmony, and the more what shall I say, the more the amplitude, if you will, of the vibration, the greater the impact in our life. So in my martial art, I teach, there's some techniques that have nothing to do with hitting and punching and things like that. They're about mental, physical, spiritual coming together. And when I teach, I put a PowerPoint presentation together. And the idea that you understand is, thought comes into your mind, and either through repetition or through sudden shock, whatever is suppressed into the subconscious mind is expressed through the body, through the law of vibration, and resonates out around you. And every being that's out there can feel it, whether they recognize it or not. I ask people, where's your mind? And they point to their head. That's not where your mind is. Your mind is in every cell of the body. The brain is a switching station. So if I take a picture of you where I can see your aura, as an example, and acrylic photography will allow us to see your aura, color, density, etc., the vibration of your energy. And by the way, there's multiple levels of energy above just the 7 chakras that we talk about. Keeps going. But if I say to you, let's say that your aura is green, or greenish, or yellow green, or whatever, and if I say to you, think of something you don't like, instantly that aura, density and color will change. That vibration within you changes. And if I give you something positive or pleasurable to think about, again, that vibration, that energy, that picture we can see, the color and density of your aura will also change. Now, if people understand that, then they'll put good things into their mind. They'll choose to listen to good things. When they feel a negative thing coming in, they get rid of it, because they don't want that negative going on and suppressing their own personal vibration, which in turn causes poor health. And when you learn to meditate, when you learn to visualize, when you learn to be in good works with other people, when you learn to give of yourself and share and teach people how to raise their vibration, how to eliminate negative thoughts, how to dwell in the positive, not only do you increase their life force, their health, but everybody on this planet, just like the butterfly with the wings, that everybody benefits from your energy going up, from my energy going up, from purifying that vibration that impacts everyone.
Beautiful. I would like to come back to our products on this topic, because, you know, when somebody is suffering from pain or physical or mental pain, and telling that people go to meditate, and it's difficult.
Right.
I know met people, they say that thanks to their physical, sometimes very often very heavy cases, they started to meditate, and it was for them, I say, very beneficial, and thanks that
All right. Yeah.
pain. But most of the people are not there on that level.
Right.
So someone is suffering from physical and mental pain of very low energy level for many reasons, can do that, cannot be happy. If that person is not happy life, fulfilled life, not unhappy, the family is impacted.
Right.
The neighbors are impacted. The colleagues are impacted. Even the other persons on the street or where you are doing shopping are impacted, because and without not knowing that, you will impact people.
Right.
And perhaps you are more sensitive, perhaps more if you are more aggressive with others. When someone is aggressive to you, it's not aggressive to you, it's aggressive for himself, because he's not good in his body, physical body, in his mind.
Right.
So if someone is suffering, how can we help him? There's this product, this technology, that's very interesting, because just you put on your skin, you stick it, and without understanding it, how it's working, your pain level can decrease or even disappear, sometimes very fast. You don't have to wait months and months or whatever, for meditation to doing that very fast. So that means if you are suffering, the source of your suffering, so the physical or mental suffering, it's decreased or gone, you can concentrate for something else.
Right.
For restore your body, but also to start a happier life.
Right.
And you smiling again on your family, husband, wife, children, or both. So, and this technology, so we have already 11 different products.
Right.
They are very interconnected. For example, today just someone has also a very powerful testimonials. This person was since 30 years, very hard, I say in English, insomniac, could not sleep, but very strong level, And he started our product for sleep. It was good, but not so that he was expecting it. And then we suggested him to try, before that, also another product called Peace. Because when your mind is, turning like a hamster in the, you cannot fall asleep. Okay. So he started trying the Peace. For the first night, he slept all the night. He said, wow, after 30 years, because mind was calmed down.
Yeah.
And when your mind is calmed down, then, and the morning he stand up with his smile. And the family said, it's a miracle. He's smiling. Because normally, when he woke up, he was, like I seen in a rage, I seen a dog, was, I feel, bite you,
Yeah.
He was, that's powerful.
Very
so
powerful.
All this, we're helping people rise there, we're giving a chance anyway, and then you decide for yourself what you want to do with your life, okay? Because there are some people who are very pleased to have this suffering, because there is
Yes.
There is, I say, their source of purpose, there is the source of Ikigai, complaining.
Yeah.
Because you think of, I could write books about this topic.
Yes.
If you think of their source of, reason of complaining, you face them with their self-destiny.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
And they cannot complain anymore.
Right.
They cannot complain. If I don't have that pain, I would do that. If I don't have, I would do that, But if you take away that, now you have the chance to do it. And they don't do it.
Right. Exactly.
So anyway, but most of the people, I believe most of the people want to rid of this all suffering. It's not
Right.
they are not pleased. And we are offering a chance to everybody to get off of this, all this physical, energetically, mentally, who are taking you like you say like in a jail, you cannot break out from that.
Right.
And quite easily and very rapidly.
Right.
That's beautiful, very powerful.
Yep. Awesome.
And we can so change humanity. That is why I believe, strongly believe.
Yeah.
If you are good, you will be better. Otherwise, you say you throw a stone in the lake, and you see all the butterflies.
Yeah.
That's the way we are changing. And I love the vision of Jay to change, have 1 billion people, 1 billion people to have a better version of their life. Of course, we're not promising that you will a million. It's not about the money. It's about the quality life, about the.
Well, think about that vision for just a moment. When that happens, depending on however it happens, the money will come along with it. The money always flows to the source. But let's take it another step back, and let's go back to the pay it forward and the movies that you just recommended and all. If we stop and think about, we're going to impact 1 billion people at some point along our journey. That's our goal. We will hit it. There's no question. When that happens, as that happens, the other 6 billion people on this planet will be impacted.
Absolutely.
It's not just the 1 billion that's going to benefit. Every single person on this planet will benefit in one way or another, whether they recognize it or not, from the fact that 1 billion, and if we talk about, 6 degrees of separation.
Yes, we talked last
everyone
time
else is
about
going
this.
to be impacted as well.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact figure but if I remember, it's about 5 or 8% of the world population has a positive mind shift,
right?
That will impact all the world positively.
Yeah. Yep.
So we don't need even 1 billion.
That's right.
Even much less. So now the question: would you like to be part of this challenge to make a better place to live on this planet Earth? Because, of course, we know we earn money. Everybody need money to live, but the message is much more powerful,
much larger than that. Yep.
Than that. So my question for you also, Dennis, but also all the souls, human beings, you are watching later this recording, will you also be part of this human challenge?
Yeah, absolutely.
If yes, you don't decide with your brain, because brains are, I say, nothing else in the subconscious, like programs you put yourself or your parents of your education, but your heart. If your heart is telling you, even if you don't understand nothing, if what these two guys are telling, I don't understand nothing. But if your heart is telling you that's good, then be welcome in our family. By the way, the heart, before stopping, do you know these studies? They made studies, in clinics, many people, and with many people, and they put them before the screen, in the television screen, computer screen, and if I remember, every 1 second, very rapidly, an image was shown on the screen. Very rapidly, it's okay. And very different screen, animals, landscapes, flowers, and I don't know how many image after, it was a very sad image about someone is, very sick or very dying, or, very of horrors, and, the people eyes was seeing the picture of a flower. And, these people were, put electrodes on the brain, on the body, and even before that, this eye saw the bad image, the heart started to more beating heavily, because the heart feel it already in advance what will happen. That's very powerful study.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
and
this.
on top of that, one more step on top of that. So science has now proven the heart-brain connection.
Yeah.
And there's actually far more signals that originate in the heart and go to the brain than originate in the brain and go to the heart. And so when we really understand that core, that understanding, that life force of the heart and how it impacts everything else that goes on in the body to and include the operation of the brain.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, even if you understand not much, of even if you understand, look into your heart and listen to your heart. And if your heart is beating, saying something, that's something for me. I feel it confident with these two guys who are speaking, I don't know what. Then please be welcome in our family, because it's much more than a business routine. This, for me, it's a family. And let's join us. We need all good humans to build something. And we need more and more and more. Be welcome in our family. And we will be very glad and very honored to welcome you and work with you and helping you to the road of the success.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I am again very honored from my heart, and thank you. I am blessed to know you in life, and also blessed to work with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same feeling, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Sleep well.
Yeah, thank you too. Bye-bye.